I'm Larry Houston. I'm the director of Captain Planet, G.I. Joe, and you might have seen the original X-Men show. I had a lot of fun with that. And you're watching At Random with Ken K. I was in animation for, wow, I got to think about it. Let's see. It was about 36 years I was working in animation. Started in 1980 and I retired in 2016. And then in 2021, I got rehired by Disney to be a consultant on the new X-Men 97. The highlights of my career has been undoubtedly, the first thing that comes to my mind is going to be the X-Men. Because the X-Men is a show that I've always wanted to do. And when I was given the responsibility and the freedom to make the show, it was like kid in a candy store. I just loved it, you know. And I was able to shape the show exactly the way I wanted it to be. You know, the writers wrote really excellent character dramas, and then I was able to shape the show so that it felt like a living comic book for people who enjoyed comic books, but also made it accessible to the general public out there so everybody could enjoy it. It's been the X-Men has been the best show I've worked on. Second best has been the Fantastic Four and Johnny Quest. I got a chance to work on those two shows, which were, Fantastic Four is like my favorite show besides the X-Men. And Johnny Quest was the first show that ever excited me as a kid. It was back in the 60s, the original series. And man, I love those shows, the way the graphics, the stories, the music, the sound effects. And the one thing I remembered the most is that you got these two kids that never went to school. They just had fun. I mean, they had jetpacks, they could go in the water, they can go out of space. They did all of this fun stuff with Yetis and going down tunnels. I mean, when you're talking about a 7 or 9-year-old kid, that's heaven right there. And that's what I felt watching the show Johnny Quest. And so when I got the chance to do that at Hanna-Barbera, working with my co-director, Davis Doy, we deliberately went after taking the original Johnny Quest, aging them up just a little bit, but repeating that same type of drama and action adventure to try and replicate that again for a new audience out there. Well, when I first worked in animation, everything was being done by hand. It was back in the 90s and it was being done overseas. We didn't have the benefits of the computer animation that is available now on X-Men 97. Also, believe me, my budget's here, Disney's budget is here. Disney dollars can buy a lot of good stuff, I can tell you. But the other thing that's happened with today's animation, there's no more cells, everything is digital, so there's no tangible objects you can hang on to. Unlike my series where they had tons of cells and backgrounds you could buy basically once they're done with it. So that's the biggest technological change from when I was working in the business, is that all the tactile originals are no longer there. There's like model sheets and stuff that's being done, but you know, it's not the same as a nice drawing with a pen, a pencil, inking it, you know, that kind of stuff. But it's more efficient. I mean, with the computers, you can make stuff work a lot better. You don't have the camera issues because everything's internal to the computer system. And it's a lot better system in some ways, then it's a lot more colder system in some ways, because I love hand-drawn animation, no matter what. And there are some shows that still use it, but for the most part, it's all digital. And so that's one of the biggest differences. That's just one. I mean, there are others, but that's the one that comes to mind first, is the technology.